everyone. Welcome to RHMax.tv. Hope you're having a great day out there. Start of your week. Happy Tuesday. And got a quick episode for you today. Probably go for about 25 minutes or so. And got a few topics to cover. And yeah, hope you're ready for it. Let's talk to the chat real quick. Umberto, what's happening, man? Red Squirrel beat you. Yeah, he's number 1 and number 5. That's the only numbers I see in his order. Good to see you, number 1 today. Red Squirrel can be number 5 sometimes. Fox Modder, how's it going, man? There we go. Red Squirrel. Good to see you. John Swalm, RHMax putting the work. Appreciate you, John. Thank you for that. I feel compelled to stream from time to time, regularly, it appears. And yeah, it's always something interesting to talk about. Like I don't spend a lot of, I do spend time prep and, come up with different content materials and stuff like that. But it's not like it's not like I'm just, oh my gosh, like what is there to talk about? It's got to be something. Sometimes I am like, it's got to be something more interesting than what I see in front of me right now. But I'm trying to think of have I ever wanted to do a stream and couldn't find anything interesting enough to talk about. There's always been a way to do it when I have the time and energy to do it. So anyways, a lot of fun stuff in the ecosystem. We'll get to that in just a minute. DJ Bomber, how's it going, man? Welcome. The Chad of Muscles, the Chussles. That's not a very good one. Chussles. It's got to be a play on words with Chad muscles, though. The Chad, I want to do like biceps. The chideceps. Sounds like side steps. Yeah. Help me out, chat. What's a good Chad muscles name you could do? Crypto Bendo. What's happening, man? All right, everyone. Let's get into the show. First up, we'll get into the disbelief part in a minute, but Kaiza talking about almost at 1 million total active wallets on PulseChain. That is true. I've been talking about that for a while. April being a big month. Apparently not for price, but a big month as far as news. We still got a week or so. There's still time, but I did some projections. I had it coming out, and maybe it still happens. Maybe the numbers went down a little bit. The trend has slowed down a little bit. But I had the calculations around end of April hitting 1 million wallets. Maybe it's looking more like the beginning of May now, which is kind of cool because we got 18 days left until PulseChain turns 1 year old. Sounds pretty possible. 1 million wallets by May 12th, May 13th. I think we could do it. That sounds very reasonable to me. Definitely. So pretty cool to see. If you're interested in where this data comes from, go to app hex.win/chain. Let's get the most up-to-date numbers. We had 962, 717 yesterday. Today we got, hasn't updated yet. Still at the 962, 717. But yeah, around almost, let's see, between 1,500 and 2,000 wallets per day. So trending in the upper side of close to 2,000 day by day. So man, in one day, we had 14,000 wallets back in February. Amazing. 24,000. Awesome. And again, some of these you can't say for sure each wallet is a new user. That's why a lot of people like to look at the daily active wallet stats, which is good too. But in general, I mean, it's good to see the number of wallets going up, the activity happening from stuff like that. Could be automation or otherwise. But daily active wallets, actually, yeah, we went up a little bit. Hit 15K, and we're hovering around 14, 15K. So again, I'd like to see these numbers, 30K, 40K, 50K in that range. That'd be popping off pretty good. So, but anyways, yeah, nothing else. A milestone looks like it's coming up in the could be next couple weeks. We got PulseChain. We got about 3 weeks away from PulseChain turning 1 year old, and 1 million total active wallets. Pretty cool thing to see on this beautiful chain we like. So let's hit on validators real quick. If you're a PulseChain validator, got some news for you. Finally got pruning to work. And when I say work, I think I've talked about it. I mentioned it a few times around. I've tried to run the pruning. So we have a script on, if you go to I'm going to go Real DeFi and get there. It's the easiest way. Go Real DeFi, learn to earn, all the way down validators. Oh, that's not that goes to the playlist, which also has a link to what I was trying to think of. tinyurl.com/PLS validator setup, which is just redirects to the GitHub. So there's a script on the GitHub. You go to table contents, and go down. Well, actually, I'll just show you this pruning script right here. So if you go to prune geth, I have a script that automates the commands and everything for you too. I've been trying to run it for a while, and it just keeps saying, "You don't need to run it, man. It's okay. Like it's not time yet." I'm like, it's been 6 months. It's been 5-6 months. I think I first started trying it around the 5-month mark, because around 6 months is kind of the guidance I think I've heard or came up with one way or another. And then it kept saying, not ready yet. So about every month I've been trying to prune it just to see, okay, tell me when it's ready. Finally, I was like, all right, I'm about to run out of disk space, so I'm pretty sure you've got to be close. And I tried to run it a couple weeks ago, and it said need a few more something. It needs a few more block. I can't remember what it said. Like, it was almost there though. And then a couple days ago, I'm like, all right, it's got to be ready now. I'm about to run out of disk space. This has to work. And then it finally went through. It looks like it took around, at the end of it, it said almost 12 hours. So it took about 12 hours. So offline, looks like there for around 12 hours, or just trying to think about in general. The general guidance is, you need to go offline to do stuff like this. And pruning was 722 gigabyte. So 722 around, just over 700 gigabytes saved in space. And just around that amount of time. So it does take some time, but this is something. And shout out to HEX by the way. He mentioned that there are some cache flags. So some flags you can use. Let's see. Oh, this was back on a thread a while back. Wow. Oh yeah, we're talking about virtual memory a while back. Okay. The cache flags to make that a little bit easier to do too, and maybe not happen as quick too. So I usually just keep my stuff vanilla. I don't change all the flags. If I just maybe I just kind of, I'm always like the cautious. I don't want to break anything, and it never, if I need to prune it every once in a while, it's not a big deal anyways. So but there's some optimizations stuff people can go for too on that. But let's say I finally pruned the geth client on the validator, and it went through, got a bunch of disk space back, and pretty awesome. So glad to see I could finally talk about that, because I've been wanting. That is the only script I haven't been able to run the script. I wrote the script, but I wasn't able to fully test it until my validator was able to be pruned. I was like, all right, I'll just wait till it needs to be pruned. So finally, all the scripts on the list are fully tested. Funny enough, all of them were except this one, because it wasn't time to prune it yet. And the script worked fine. Had no problem whatsoever, which it's pretty simple. So I wouldn't expect it to, but pretty cool. Hex 9000. Hey Max, after having so much trouble with documentation, PulseChain validators, scrapped it and went bare bones with your scripts. Works great so far. Awesome. Yeah, man. There's a lot of good guides and scripts and stuff, and I know most people seems like they like to use Docker, and I've used it before. I've made containers. Like I know all about the technology, and it's amazing. For me, I've talked about this before. It's just one of those. It's kind of like personal preference. Like, you can do it all in containers. But for me, I like bare metal. Like, it just feels like another layer to me. And now, especially people who use guides and scripts like that, they got to learn Docker or figure out how, if there's some error, then they got to figure out how that works. So my whole thing is like, I want to remove as much complexity as possible, make it as easy as possible, learn the least amount possible in order to get set up and, troubleshoot and do stuff like that. So that's why I just never was interested in doing a Docker version of the scripts, but there's definitely pros and cons with each. But I'm glad you got mine set up and working, and glad it helped, because I like my scripts, and a lot of people seem to use them. A lot of people use other community scripts as well. So very cool. I'm glad we have so many different people creating content, creating automation and scripts and stuff in the community with different ways of approaching it. That's good just in general for the diversity of ways of doing things. Is good for people who have an inclination towards one way or another, or have trouble in this case with one way or another. And sometimes you need a fresh start. Like, I was setting up the validator stuff when I first started learning about it on Ethereum with, I think, was I using basically the opposite of what I'm using now. I was using Aragon and Prism, I think, or something like that. And when I got to PulseChain, again, nothing against those clients. They're fine. And there's nuances with which each client, some are, I think Aragon, you don't need to prune at all. It's got some different features and stuff. But I just got like, I had so much frustration with those clients on Ethereum. When I came to PulseChain, I just picked the other two. I'm like, no, I'm done trying to work with these. I know it's just just how I'm feeling right now or whatever. But I was like, the pro side is now I'll be able to experience what all 4 clients are like, and get that kind of fresh start thing. So no client that's really better than another. It's just all, they all have pros and cons. But yeah, funny story about Ethereum validator on testnet stuff too. So anyways, welcome to the party. Glad you got it up and running. Yeah, I hope it goes well. Crypto Toad, how's it going, man? Good to see you back. Eliza Barnley, why is HEX at 9 cents? Boy, that would be news if it were. Maybe reading a different kind of chart, or you may have added a couple zeros on the decimal there. But I haven't seen HEX at 9 cents for quite a while. But I'm hopeful. You never know. Never know when it comes blazing back. And we have to start adding zeros on the other side of that thing too. Murder Yoga 10p. What's up, man? How's it going? Oh, 9/10 of the, yeah, Umberto says 9/10 of penny. Expedition. Awesome. See, I'd always appreciate your effort streaming. Some of the community thinks get rich quick scheme. Those that have commitment time will be rewarded. It's not rocket science. I agree with that. I think that's well said. Well said indeed. All right. Let's move on to, this is something I want to talk about too, real quick, which is perable tokenomics. I did a whole stream. I've clipped the channels from the team and stuff as well. One of the few projects on PulseChain I'm interested in. And I was talking to some team yesterday, trying to figure out like how to simply explain some of this stuff. Because it's simple on the surface. If you've seen a lot of other tokenomics stuff, it's new, but it's simple, but it can be very complex unless you really deep dive into different mechanisms and stuff before. So with this tweet, I tried to break it down as easy as possible. Essentially, what becomes like enabling a double buy and burn. There's like this compounding effect. Not going to get into it again, trying to keep it super simple. But this is one of the projects I think it's very, very interesting. Going to have GIFF and Kool-Aid on for a technical deep dive, hopefully in the next week or so when they're ready to do it. But it's pretty cool. So the first one, user initiated, and second one, protocol initiated on the buy and burn. Now you can think of, I got the process here. Again, search perable tokenomics. I did a whole stream. If you go to the channel, just go to live, and it'll take you to streams, and go to perable tokenomics on PulseChain. It's got GIF, permaGIF, and Pulsar. And actually in the stream, I made a clarification. So this tweet actually clarifies too, because in the stream, I talk about the buy and burn, and it works a little differently than what I talked about in the stream. It's like half correct, at least the stream explanation, because it didn't have all the stuff's very new. Didn't have all the information, and again, I just keep getting more information about it as we go and talking to the team and stuff. But anyways, I added this in the notes. So if you watch the stream, I'm about half accurate on the explanation of the pieces of the buy and burn. And then with this tweet, I wanted to, okay, now I can clarify it. Now I can be like, here, I confirm this. This is how it works, essentially speaking, at a simple level, at a high level, so people can understand it better. Because trying to explain it and then do all this stuff and like no, but this is like way different project than probably anyone watching this has ever seen before. I mean, it's a new tech. It's new mechanics. It's like, I don't think it's been done before. I think the team has talked about that too, where it hasn't been done before in this way. And a lot of it seems like, they talked about in the public streams and things, seems like there's more to come. There's just this, they're kind of laying some infrastructure and stuff like that. Don't know what's going to come from it, but it looks very interesting. Anyways, you can learn more about it there. Price chart, look at it, see what you think. Check on the stuff there. And the workflow. So they posted a chart in the video. Oh, finally, there's actually a workflow. So this makes it very much more easy to understand. So you can check that out. This is the GIF token. This is the perma-GIF token. And again, you can look at the diagram. There's the GIF OA. Talks about that. Talks about the buying and burning off the market. All that stuff too. And yeah, just check it out. And got all the links there, diagram, information, more to come. And again, if you don't quite get it at first glance, and you're like, oh, this looks different than everything else, or oh, what's this? I don't quite understand this. Again, I got links to their channel, the Telegram channel, stuff like that. I'm not much for Telegram. That's the only channel where I'm like actually paying attention a little bit more these days, just to see what's going on and stuff coming out. But very excited. I've known GIFF and Kool-Aid and all those guys for kinetics and stuff too for a long time, and yeah, hexagons and all that too. So I'm not going to get into like, why you should look at all that stuff. I'm just going to say I'm very interested in it, and yeah, I'm going to be talking about it and doing I've been doing content and I hope to be one of the most technical deep dives, the most useful technical deep dive of any product I've ever done. I hope to be able to do that in the next week or so, as far as learning about the protocol, about buy burns, about liquidity, about just how creation versus inflation, these different mental models, very, very interesting stuff here. So I'll put it in the chat. Check out the information when you want to, but it is, yeah, one of the few projects I'm excited to see more about, learn more about. I've really, I went down the rabbit hole in this one, and again, hope to do a stream to really get into some cool stuff with it. So a lot of information that wasn't available now, hopefully I can capture in this thread and kind of answer some questions and stuff after that as well. All right, so got that piece, and then talk about AI real quick. So drop this in the chat again. I've mentioned before, this is one of the few newsletters I actually subscribe to. So this newsletter is, excuse me, is pretty cool. It's got a bunch of different, let's see, where is the, oh, the link to the, where's the link to the newsletter? Okay, yeah, this one. So plugin.ai. This is where you can go, if you subscribe to it, you can see just new stuff, keeps you up to date with new GPTs. That's why I initially subscribed to it. Talks about Meta releasing the Llama 3, the new model and stuff too, and why that's important and interesting, and how it compares to GPT. And then Microsoft doing the new model with hyper realistic talking faces, which are like, maybe they use it for avatars, maybe like tech support type stuff. Man, a lot of like very interesting, but very like, very scary and very interesting stuff at the same time. I think there's going to be AI. If you're not paying attention to AI, if you haven't did the go to Real DeFi, click on AI. If you haven't did the free training yet, you should at least go to, I tell everyone, at least go watch the day 1, day 2. It's about an hour and a half worth of content. That'll get you, that'll really explain how all this stuff works, like get you creating images or memes or videos, or just learning how to do stuff. If you're interested in coding or whatever it is, at least the first couple will give you like an understanding of the power of this thing. And if you're more interested after that, you can go through the rest of them, or, search on yourself. But yeah, I think this is really, really interesting, and only going to be more valuable knowledge to get into learning how to utilize AI for this stuff. So super cool newsletter. Really appreciate the guy who does it and made it and all that stuff too. So very cool stuff. Shout out to Dario for doing the newsletter and keeping me up to date with her, or a lot of people up to date with this type of stuff. So let's get to the Disbelief. Talked about a little bit about it yesterday with Crypto Kong. If you didn't catch that, that was a great stream too, by the way. So Sami says, you're all feeling a bit better today. I feel it too. That's a green candle. Even Bitcoin's responding to it. We are the crowd. Our emotions are synced together. Could be a science we don't understand yet as humans. Telling kinetic energy or some aurora. One day in the future we'll understand it. But for now, you see evidence of it in the price charts because we all act on emotion. This might be early disbelief phase we are exhibiting. We are feeling good because the candles are green, but we are early to this mini cycle because we're here every day and you're reading my message to keep you up to date. So again, Kong and I talked about this yesterday. Boy, do we hope this is disbelief and we get some, not just green candles, but sustainably up. We have tons of capital, tons of people, tons of things coming in to start using these products and really pump up the volume on all the products and the networks, and of course with PulseChain, and start bringing in the people who aren't jaded, that still are looking for good products to put their money in and make money from. or here for true DeFi, like real DeFi stuff. That's what we got. That's what PulseChain is about. Like we giving everyone a fair shot and not to not lose all your money. Maybe that's a good way to put it. Give everyone a fair shot to not lose all your money. That's really, at the end of the day, I think that's what PulseChain, that's what, Richard's, I think, trying to do. I mean, I think he's trying to mint millionaires that share his ideals he can put forth and do great things in the world with it, be a force for good. But HEX, PulseChain, however you define it, whatever it means to you, to me, it is really about that fair shot, the ability to be like, here's the infrastructure, here are the tools, here are the ideals. You can pick and choose which one you like and how much you participate. But when you come here, at least with the blue chips, at least the products that built by people who have this long-term vision, you're not going to get rugged. It's not going to be this unfair game. Your money's not going to get frozen, all that stuff. That's what I love about this place. That's what I think is special. And boy, if we are at the beginning of a mini bull run, another bull run, the rest of the part of the cycle, whatever it is, and you can chase the end of it here and see the disbelief part before we get to hope, optimism, belief, thrill, and the illustrious, dangerous, but incredible euphoria. That's boy, that's exciting. That's something to see. And I certainly hope for our community, all the people putting in the work out there, they are rewarded with that kind of fair chance to do what they want to do. So very cool stuff. So are we? Don't know. We'll have to see how the market plays out. But boy, that Ethereum could taste it. I haven't looked at the price yet. I have no idea what the pulse price is. You know what? I'm just going to go there only because, not to look at the prices, but I think there's a countdown ticker somewhere. I saw Brett looking at, yeah, right here. So you see me, don't even care about the prices. Don't care. Accidentally saw the pulse price. Don't want to know. Don't need to know. Am I going to buy more today? Am I going to sell more or am I going to buy today? I'm going to sell today. Or do I have some leverage play, which I think could be in jeopardy by the price going down, for example, for liquidation or otherwise? Otherwise, why do I look at the price? Why do I care? Unless I just want to entertain myself or be excited because maybe it's up a lot, and that's something that, I try to avoid doing that. I try to avoid both ways, so it keeps balance there. But anyways, long story short, why I came to the website is I saw that they have a 1-year anniversary ticker for PulseChain on here. So 19 days, 2 hours, 27. That sounds about right, because I was live with about 5 or 6 other people. I have the clip on YouTube. It's amazing. I put on Twitter the other day when PulseChain went live a year ago. Boy, it doesn't seem that long ago, honestly. It seems like it's one of those things. Usually things in crypto seem like, I should be saying it felt like 10 years ago, or it feels like it's been 10 years since it went live. It doesn't feel like that long away. It really doesn't. So I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but it feels, it's pretty cool to think about. So 19 days around, what is that, 5 o'clock Pacific, Eastern time, 8 o'clock Eastern. Is that what it is? 0 UTC on May 13th. Pretty cool. So yeah, great site. Always shout out to GoPulse. Great site for putting stuff together. And you can check out all the stuff there, and Go Real DeFi. Also, the 2 sites that I personally use the most is for PulseChain and HEX stuff and all that. GoPulse.com and GoRealDeFi.com. And not just saying that because it's my site. I'm saying that because I literally use it all the time. I come here to go to these playlists to share with people, or use the apps, or all that stuff too. So, and they got buy buttons in different places and resources there too. So very, very cool stuff. I think that's all I got. We'll get to the chat real quick and we'll wrap up. But hopefully like this short. I like them. I like these short solo streams where don't have anyone on today, don't have a big topic. I just want to kind of go through, anything interesting going on in the community and talk about that. 4 posts per week limit for Max on Telegram. I think you're right, man. I try not to. I try not to. Umberto, these RHMax streams are much better than Branner. I have a big influence. Just should learn from Max, not just shilling facts come sporty. That's very nice of you to say, man. Very appreciate that. I do, every time I watch like big influencers, I am like, what information are people getting here? I really come to think of like, they definitely have, they're doing something right. They're entertaining, or they're promoting, they're influencing, right? But there's probably a reason that, and I don't think I'm the only one, where I spend very little time, if any, watching big influencers. Only when there's maybe some big news event coming on. Meet Kevin's actually, he's pretty good to dig into. Like, I feel like Meet Kevin is probably the only guy, and it's not even about crypto half the time. I did watch the SEC stuff he was talking about when he covered the Coinbase court stuff that was going on live. That was pretty cool. And he does a bunch of real estate stuff, and that's like one of the few people actually like I can learn stuff from, or I have learned stuff from. And I don't know what all the other shows and stuff he does, but in general, everyone else, when I tune in, I'm just like, I feel like I'm just being fed information about some product or somebody's opinion, that, kind of stuff like that. So, I mean, there's apparently people like them, and they fill a niche, and they're doing well. So, I hope they're there to educate people and not just get them into projects because, they were paid to or otherwise. I'm sure there's plenty with integrity out there and all that. But yeah, on my show, try to bring good information. And yeah, I don't consider myself an influencer. I consider myself a creator. I like creating content. That's why, yeah, on Telegram stuff, I'm not very active because I don't like Twitter Spaces. I don't like participating in Twitter Spaces very much. I try, because I'm not creating content unless somebody's literally recording it and clipping it. I can't scale the conversations I have unless I'm live on YouTube, or making clips, or producing content, or making playlists, onboarding, or making posts and infographics and stuff like that. I want to create things. And if those things I create influence people and hopefully help them in some way, I mean, that's a great thing for our ecosystem. So that's what I like to do. Appreciate your focus on innovations. Yes, that's, I don't know if you're referring to GIFF, what I talked about earlier, but in general, yeah, if I see something super innovative and not just the 1,000th thing I've seen that somebody does going on, I definitely, again, good information. I believe I have good information. I try to share it with people. And I'm not here, again, don't monetize. You guys know all this stuff. I'm going to talk about it, but like, I do this because I like doing it. I do it because it's interesting. It helps me. I mean, I win from this. It's a win-win. I can scale information. I can learn myself. It gives me a reason to go figure stuff out and talk about it. And I think I can have a positive influence on the community as well, a positive effect on the community. So, awesome. Anyways, what's up, Hex Glenn? Good to see you, man. Never forget you riding by on that bicycle and be like, man, where is the meetup spot for this thing? And it's like the first time I saw Hex Glenn, he was riding a bicycle. We were in Miami. He's like riding by on a bicycle, and I didn't know who he was. And I was like, is that Hexkin? We're trying to get to the meetup. And I think they moved the spot or something like that. And then later on, I met him. I was like, oh, you're the guy on the bicycle I saw. And anyways, there's a Hex Glenn story. And we got to hang out at dinner and all that stuff too. So very cool. Very cool. In general, gotcha. Yes. Is we going to be rich? If you're not rich already, hopefully if you invest in the products around here, and otherwise no financial advice, but hopefully if you're not rich already, you can become that and then do some cool stuff with it. If you're already rich, hopefully you become richer and do some even bigger scale, large stuff with it. Rich wealth, talk about that a lot on the show too, but yeah, hopefully, are we going to be rich? I don't think everyone is, but I think people who make key decisions, follow different principles that we discuss on the show a lot of times too, that are inherent and kind of like gluing this ecosystem together. I think this place gives them a fair shot, like I said earlier. So certainly hope so. I wish you all, yes, you as well. Wish you all the maddest of gains and the best of luck. And we'll be back tomorrow with a really cool stream. I think with Crispy Man and Neil for T-shares, and that should be fun stream. Talk about LP plays and otherwise in the ecosystem. But all right, that's all I got for you today. Scivive and 5555. We are out.